Hey guys, Claudio Valdivia here with the Think Real Estate team. I am joined by my wonderful, awesome, amazing team member, Erica Osborne, and Taylor Hudgins, the boss never where they're supposed to be. Taylor is also on the team. She is also an investor, and we're going to be walking through the investor deep dive with Taylor Hudgins. Taylor?
I feel like we should have some cool intro music right there, and just like, and Taylor dances herself in. Again, like the can potentially.
Yeah, we'll throw some legs up. It'll be fine.
All right, Taylor. Oh, go ahead, Claudio. Go. You did such a great intro. I was just going to cruise us into the convo.
Go.
But I mean, I guess let's start with the fact of a little bit of background on you, a little bit about where you came from, and how you got to where you are physically in this world in Hampton Roads, Virginia.
Well, I am from good old Buckingham, Virginia, which is a very small country town.
That's the country.
Yes, we have two
I don't even know where that is.
Most people don't, so that's okay. It's got 2 stoplights in the whole county. And when I was in high school, we got McDonald's.
Woo!
Yeah. And so that's where I grew up. And so after living there for 18 years, I could not wait to go explore the world. So I went to college in Raleigh, North Carolina, which felt like very big city to me. I was like, oh my gosh, they have streetlights and sidewalks and big city life here, and they have a downtown. So Raleigh felt very big city to me. A lot of people don't believe Raleigh's that big, but when you have 2 stoplights in the whole city, more than 3 is a lot. So went to college, and I met my now husband there. He was stationed in Fayetteville. So we met, we stayed there until he got out of the military. And then we moved to Virginia Beach.
What kind of degree did you come out of school with?
I got a sociology degree. I had a big passion for nonprofits and wanting to help people and do women's rights. And then I got out of college and realized I needed to pay some bills and make some money. So I kind of fell into a analyst job because I had a lot of experience with Excel at the time from my sociology degree. And then after that, I fell into human resources because I had a friend who got a new job, and she said, hey, we have a great spot for you. Come on over. And I wasn't really tied to that job. So I was like, okay, great. Sounds like it makes a lot more money than I was going to make in a nonprofit. So that sounds good.
Do you, are you happy with how that went, or do you wish you would have went for something different after college? Like a different sort of job, or?
I felt like I knew I wanted to help people. I just didn't know how I was going to make that happen. So we knew that John was getting out of the military. So we're like, all right, well, we'll just start over when we move to Virginia Beach. So when we got here, I was like, well, I need a job, and I know I have this human resources experience. I'll do that. And then, of course, I got in that job, didn't feel fulfilled like most people don't feel fulfilled in a cubicle job. And so I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll get my master's degree so I can go back into nonprofits and do nonprofits at a high level so I can still do the nonprofit shindig and make lots of money doing it. And then
very rare nonprofit equals
right,
a big
money.
Payday.
For some reason, I had that in my head, like, oh, I would be totally good doing a master's and going into nonprofit after that. But I started up my master's degree, and for the first time ever, I was really terrible at school.
Taylor. Oh, I like the face we caught her in, though. Taylor, come back to us.
While we're waiting for Taylor, I think like she's hit so many, she's like speaking to the crowd right now in regards to going to school, getting an education, and then getting out into the workforce and not being fulfilled, right?
Well, you kind of accidentally fall into a job, then you gain experience in that job. So then that's like your, kind of the waterfall effect or the snowball effect more so, is all of a sudden now I have human resource experience. Therefore, if I'm going to move and go somewhere else, Taylor will come back in. Human resources is an easy job to fall into. That's even how I fell into my accounting jobs. It was just, I came out of school. Oh, Taylor, we sidebarred into something.
Oh,
That's okay. Keep going.
That's your back. No, we were just kind of talking about, Claudio mentioned that, your story is very familiar, especially in the real estate world, is where you hit corporate America. It wasn't fulfilling. And so you were kind of getting to the point where you're itching. You felt like there needed to be a change. There needed to be something else. And I had just mentioned that so often you come out of school, you pop yourself into a job. Now you have experience in that field. So you feel like, okay, well, I know I can always get a job in that field. Like for you, human resources, you got experience. All of a sudden you're in Virginia Beach. You're like, well, I have experience in human resources, so let me go into that. And people kind of get pigeonholed, into that thing. And that's how accounting even happened for me. It was just, oh crap, I have my degree. I'm good with numbers. Let's do accounting. And then all of a sudden, all the jobs that followed that were accounting, just because I had the experience in it. So it's very hard to change once you've created that little niche, for yourself. So, all right. So you're getting the itch to get out of the corporate world. That's where we start rolling again.
Oh, okay. That's where you lost me.
Yeah.
So I was getting the itch and realizing there's got to be something more to this whole life thing. And there's got to be more out here than just cubicle life and feeling like you have to work a job for 50 years and then you can retire and then you get to do what you want. I could be dead by then. I have no idea. But that's when, no lie, I was at my cubicle one day and I Googled how to be rich. Because I was like, if I was just rich, I wouldn't have any of these problems. I could just do what I wanted. I could go drink on the beach on a Tuesday because I wanted to. And then that's how I found out about passive income. That's how I found out about Brandon Turner. And that's how I found out rental properties and creating a stream of cash flow where people pay you every month. And you have this asset that just pays you and pays you and pays you forever.
All right. What was the catalyst though? Like what was the first thing besides your Googling, how to be rich?
How to be rich. That was it.
Very curious what comes up in that Google search. Besides, searching that, what was the first thing or first book or first thing that you were like, okay, this is what I need, first step I need to take some action or inspire me to take some action towards this?
Towards investing?
Yes, or I mean, first, in reality, how did you realize that real estate was that niche to bring you into that?
I guess because all the YouTube videos that I found myself going into and podcasts, I realized that this was something I felt like I could actually do. It's something that actually made sense to me. Like, to be honest, stocks never made sense to me. All the different kind of savings accounts you can get and CDs and all the other worlds of stock investing just didn't click to me. But this felt very simple. Buy a house, someone else pays for it, and someone pays you in their rent cash flow from that property. So not only is someone else purchasing that property for you, they also are giving you cash flow on top of it that you can live off on if you buy correctly. So it felt like it made sense and it was simple. The concept is
quote unquote simple.
yeah.
There's
All right, so go ahead, Claudia.
Don't quote me on this because I'm not that quote guy. But I heard like it's not 100% of millionaires get to become a millionaire through real estate, but 100% of millionaires own real estate, right? So maybe
Makes sense to me.
maybe
Yeah.
you.
I think I've heard that too.
Yeah. So again, I probably screwed it up, but it's what.
It
Google
sounds
it.
right to me,
Google it.
Claudia. I'm
Yeah.
on board with it.
And I've heard millionaires have 7 different streams of income.
Wow, that's a lot of streams though.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in my retirement plan, there's only 4. So I think I'm really short now.
Better than one.
I need 3. I need 3 more. Man. I'll figure this out. All right. So you decide that real estate is going to be the avenue for you. So what did you do to educate yourself before making your big jump? What did you do to prepare?
A ton of reading. I'm such a nerd. So I even went to the library before I was completely sold on investing. Yeah. And I read like The Millionaire Next Door and different books that are about accumulating wealth, but not so much just investing. and really opened up my eyes. So I read a lot of Bigger Pockets, listened to a ton of Bigger Pockets podcasts, was definitely head over heels with Bigger Pockets. And then of course, networking and meeting lots of other people who are doing the same thing and are actually making it work. The one thing that I want, and meeting people who've already done it. So that has been very crucial for me too.
Hey Taylor, for the younger generation, can you describe what a library is?
A place with books that's free.
It is free, and you can go there to study, to sit, to take a nap.
It's nice.
On that point, real quick, I want to pause real quick. How old are you, Taylor? I know you're not supposed to ask a lady how old they are, but how old are you?
That's okay. Right now, I'm 26.
Okay.
When they're young enough, they don't mind answering.
You're 26, and
Yeah.
the opening to this conversation was, I went to school, I got an education, I went to work, and I was unfulfilled. Like
Yeah.
a realization of that in such a short period of time, is such a short period of life to say, yeah, I don't want to do that for the next 50 years. Like, was there education before the education? Like what got you thinking in that mindset? Because I think, like Erica described earlier, there's a lot of people that just kind of do the status quo. Like they fall into the rut. Like, hey, my dad was a doctor, I'm going to go be a doctor. My mom was, a nurse, I'm going to go be a nurse, or whatever the situation is. They kind of just fall into this rut, and then blink of an eye, 50 years later, they're like, I didn't really do anything that I wanted to do. But very early on, you had this realization, like, there has to be more to life than just collecting a paycheck and going to work. Like, can you talk a little bit about that mindset?
That click, that switch. Yeah, I mean, I kind of prescribe to the same thing. I always got good grades. My parents really wanted me to go to college, and college sounded good. It sounded fun, sounded like a party. So
The big city life.
college. And college was my way out of my hometown too. So it was kind of my escape. It was my next plan. I even remember sitting on my grandfather's lap, and he's like, you keep getting those good grades, you can go to any college you want. And I'm like, okay, so college was just kind of part of the plan, because I just thought that's how life worked. You just went to school, then went to college, and then you got a job, and then you retire. I guess for me, the switching point was still being in my graduate program, because I knew everyone else was going to grad school, and I got a sociology degree. So I should probably go to grad school, get an MBA or something more solid than a sociology degree. And sitting there contemplating whether or not I should quit my master's program, because it wasn't really good. I wasn't doing a great job. I didn't feel like this was my path, and feeling very frustrated. And so at that point in time, I guess a lot of Instagram scrolling, to be honest. I was like, there are all these other people out here my age on Instagram doing all these cool things all the time. They're getting to travel the world. They're getting to do whatever they want. They get to work online. They get to work by their computers. They're doing what they want. Of course, this is Instagram, so people will only show you what they want you to see. But at the time, I was like, people out there are doing this. Why can't I do it? So then at that point, it clicked to me that other people are living a life up here. I want to live up here too. I don't want to just live in my cubicle till I'm 65 and can collect a Social Security payment, and then I can travel. There are plenty of young people traveling now, and I want to know how they're doing it. Not so much that my heart's set on fire by traveling, but the freedom outside of the cubicle is kind of what I was really looking for, and noticing that other people are doing it. So therefore, I should be able to do it too.
That's awesome. And for like the cubicle, it's just a metaphor, right?
Yeah, it's just a metaphor.
Whatever four walls you're in, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're a truck driver, that cubicle is that cab, right? Like it doesn't matter what it is. It's just the expectation for more. And I'm like just super excited to know you because of the fact that you realize that so young. Like people go through their entire lives and it never clicks. It's something that I'm passionate about. And when I talk to somebody that doesn't have that spark, it's like, I want to shake them, not now with social distancing, like.
You can shake them later.
You shake the screen that you're watching them through.
There's more to life than just the 9 to 5 grind. And like, when you get around people like yourself that have realized it and they figured it out, like there's a fire behind them, there's a passion behind them, they're living life. And maybe they haven't achieved the success that they want to achieve, but just being in that moment, it's good enough. Like it gets me fired up.
Yeah.
Well, I like the concept of, I mean, it's the difference between when you had mentioned, graduate school, and where you said, this is what I feel like I should be doing. But then when you talk about how it flips to where now you're looking at people doing what you want and you're like, I can do that if they can't. So it's like the change from I should be to, ooh, I can. But it's on a different level. Like when you say I should be, it's normally going to follow or precede something that you don't really, your heart's not necessarily in it. But when it's just like, I can do that too, then it's you leading up to something that is more inspiring, kind of just, fires you up a little bit more. So that's a really neat observation and difference. I can understand that. I started my master's and I was like, I actually don't need my master's to do what I want to do. And it took and I was going through the motions for it because I was like, oh, an MBA is the next step. I was like, but wait, why am I spending all this money? Like, I don't need to in order to do what I want to do. Holy crap. All right, well, let's pump the brakes on this a little more and figure out what it is. So that's awesome that you had that realization in the balls or the ovaries in order just to be like, I want something different. So that's awesome.
And life is full of so many I should. Like, I should go to grad school. I should marry this person, or I should do X, Y, Z. And I'm not a mom, but I know a lot of people will say I should do this for my kids, even though that's not really what they want in the long run.
Well, that's amazing, Taylor. So, all right, how did you settle on your strategy and what you wanted for when it comes to real estate investing?
So real estate and all the many flavors it comes in, I knew I wanted that passive income because I was like, passive income is going to give me the freedom that I want, that I'm so hungry for. So we knew we wanted to do rentals. We played around with the idea of doing flips just so that we could have more money to buy more rentals. But flipping, because at the time when I started learning about investing, I was still in my cubicle 9 to 5 because I needed to get a loan approved to buy a house. So I was still there trucking through. And so I knew that flipping would take on a lot more energy and a lot more focus than just having a rental property where just someone lived there and paid me once a month. So we knew we wanted to do rentals long term, and we just decided to go ahead and start with rentals because why wait?
Well,
now, when you say passive income, like, can you describe that to somebody that's hearing that for the very first time?
Passive income is, at least to me, is the idea of making money without you putting any effort into it. Like, not any effort, I shouldn't say there's no effort in passive income, but the idea that you're making money while you sleep. So if I don't go to the property for a month, someone is still going to pay me on the first of the month, their rent payment. So having someone
like, passive income is front loaded. Like the work is front loaded. And if you do the work properly up front, then that's when it becomes passive.
Yeah, it's very active at first, at least with real estate. It's very active at first.
And so you settled on that because you didn't want the big payday. You just wanted some consistency. You wanted to basically live life on your own terms. The quote unquote, again, passive. There's nothing in real estate that's passive. Like, you're involved in one way, shape, or form, but again, it kind of speaks to what we were talking about earlier. You're living life on your terms, right? So it's not something that you have to grind for every single day. It's like, hey, I'm just making little tweaks at a time to make it to where this money comes to me and it flows in abundance regularly, right? That's the quote unquote passive income. But so you settled in on that for the lifestyle. You've been in the investing world now for a bit of time. Is that still the strategy, the main strategy, or is this a strategy to lead to another strategy?
Buy and hold is definitely the definite end goal, forever and ever, amen. But then we've talked about, so this didn't happen at first when we were first talking about investing. Me and John brought it up to our parents, and they're like, oh, you guys are young and dumb and you're still figuring it out. We're not going to give you any money. Like, okay, fair enough. And so, but now that we've completed a deal, John's parents are kind of like, hey, you know, we might be interested, you know, maybe not now, but down the road, investing with you guys. And so maybe for things like that and partnering with other people, we'd be interested in doing flips just for the short-term payout. But at the end of the day, we'd really like to have a strong portfolio going to get some quote unquote passive income.
All right, so from when you identified it, started educating yourself, how long did it take you to get the coveted first deal?
The first deal. So I remember the day I Googled how to be rich was in August of 2018.
Okay.
So I started learning and started going to meetups that fall and winter. And Melanie, who ran the meetups, was a real estate agent. And she asked me, you know, hey, if we find you a deal, are you ready? So of course I'm scared because I've been too nervous to actually do anything. I've been taking little baby steps, but she was, you know, asking if I was ready to take the plunge. So of course I'm like, yes, let's go, let's do this. And then of course, Erica and Melanie actually found me quite a few deals. So we made quite a few offers. The first offer I put in was New Year's Eve going into 2019 because I was so scared. I've never put an offer in on property at all because the house that we live in, John bought it with a VA loan. So I was not a part of that process. And so putting an offer was very nerve-wracking to me. We went under contract on a house and there were just so many things wrong with it. I got nervous because I was like, I don't mind doing repairs, but I'm scared to take on a house that's falling down. So we let go of that one. We finally got under contract February 2019, closed March 2019, started renovating and had a tenant in by August. It could have been much faster than that, but we went very slow for renovation.
So we get into your, okay, so that's,
Yeah.
What is that, like 6 months, right? From Googling how to be rich
Yeah,
to actually closing on your
Yeah.
first deal, which is awesome.
Really.
It takes a lot of guts to educate, and then that jump is the hardest. What do you think pushed you to make that jump? Was it just a not blind necessarily, blind faith, or just like, I've got to jump in somehow? Or how did you get over the fear of popping in?
Mostly more of the fear of staying the same was kind of a big push. You know, imagining life, still my cubicle life. My 9-to-5 job was kind of a big push, then learning. And then I think when Melanie texted me saying, hey, are you ready to buy a deal? And saying yes, that was me saying, yes, I'm ready to do that. Not only to Melanie, but also to myself, like, okay, I've got everything I need. It's time to go. It's time to actually take some action. Because at that point I had been pre-approved and I just wasn't ready yet. I was just too nervous. And so I think her saying, all right, are you ready? Let's go. We can do this for you. It's like, okay, this is it. So it was not just me saying yes to Melanie, but also me saying yes to me in that question.
That was really good, and that was packed with like so many nuggets. It doesn't have to be real estate related. It can be any business. Surrounding yourself around people that are going to give you that push and be a positive in your life to say, hey, it's time to nut up or shut up. It's time to go. You've done what you can possibly do to the point where you're at right now. And now, in order to gain the real life experience, you're gonna have to fly out of the coop, baby bird.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, you couldn't be any more ready than you are. You're never gonna be like, it's like when people talk to you, tell you about parenthood. Like, you're never going to actually feel like you're ready. And even when you're on the on the brink of it, and Claudio, I'm sure you can speak to this. When you're on the brink of it, you probably feel yourself like, oh shit, I'm not ready. So it's really great. Yeah, it is great to surround yourself with people who are going to give you that friendly nudge and reminder that, hey, you've done everything you can to prepare to get up to this point. At some point in time, you've got to just go for it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So walk us through the details then of the first deal.
So the first deal, so when I started looking, I had saved up a chunk of money from where I was still living at my parents' house. And so we were going to use that chunk of money and do a 20% down payment for an investment property with a conventional loan. So with that, I was only approved up to $65,000. So $65K for a house is not very much, but it was a starting point. So we started where we could. So the house we ended up getting was $59,000. It is 698 square feet. So it is a tiny but mighty little property. It's 2 bed, 1 bath, and we put about $6,000 into renovations. And a lot of that we did ourselves, but towards the end of it, we just hired someone. And some of that went to holding costs too. So holding costs would be like the mortgage and the electricity and the water and the gas during the time it took us to renovate. So before we could put a tenant in there, but we still had to pay the bills during that time.
All right. So you're like $71,000 potentially into this deal, right? By the time you get a tenant in, right? Oh no, 59. So $65,000, right? Sorry.
Yes.
I thought about your budget and then I added 6,000 to that.
No.
So we're talking about $65,000 into it. So what's your cash flow off of it?
So we rented out for $875, and we currently pay about $400 for the mortgage. So about $475 is what we cash flow.
All right. So if you look at that cash on cash return for that, for your 20% in and your holding cost on that, that's a great cash on cash return for a first deal, and you can do it under $65,000. Keep forgetting.
Exactly. It's possible. It is possible.
That's amazing. All right. So lessons learned, first deal.
First deal. So John and I had the plan that we were going to go in and fix everything by ourselves, save money and get it done ASAP. But at the time, John was taking night classes, which was fine. And of course, we both had 9-to-5 jobs, and we had my stepdaughter every other weekend. So he was feeling very strong in his handyman skills, and I'm not whatsoever. I did paint the whole house. That's a lot of work. That's the extent of my handy skills though. But by the time we actually put in work every other weekend, we were losing more money because our holding costs went up. We were also losing our sanity because we were making mistake, and we had to go buy new tools every time something else popped up. And as we were digging in and trying to fix things, we found more problems. Nothing catastrophic, but it felt catastrophic because we had no idea what we were doing. So if we found a hole in the drywall, we were like having a heart attack over it because we had no idea how to fix it. We were YouTubing. So at the end of the day, I would recommend anyone just hiring a contractor and save yourself some sanity and some money.
Did you have any, you said your extent of being able to fix things up was painting. Did John have any background in construction or anything like that?
He doesn't have any professional background, but he grew up on his grandfather's farm a lot. So he did a lot of stuff around the farm. And I don't know if that always correlates to fixing a house, but, but he felt very strong and confident about fixing the things that needed to be fixed, but no strong, solid background in those items. A lot of YouTubing was done during those months.
YouTube is a godsend. I know a buddy.
It
is.
He basically gutted an entire in-law suite and put it back together. I'm like, dude, did you grow up doing this stuff? He's like, nah, man, YouTube. Whatever I could figure out on YouTube, I subbed it out. I'm like, genius, right? But again, some nuggets. Taylor and John took action on the confidence that they can get things done, right? Once they got in there, and they screwed some stuff up and they figured it out, and now their taste bud says, we're not in it to do any construction work. We're going to go ahead and stuff it out from the beginning. So
yeah.
Yes.
That's the number one. Yeah. You jumped in, You were going to survive no matter what, and you made your way out of it with your relationship intact and a cash flowing property.
Yeah.
So that's the important part there. All right. Now, I feel like at some point in time during that journey, you decided that real estate was going to mean a little bit more to you than just the investing world. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about the transition and mindset from corporate to all of a sudden, you know, I want to work in real estate full time in another way, the agent life. So
Yeah. So when I was doing my first investing book scavenger hunt that I was doing at first, I read Set for Life by Scott Trench, I believe. It's a Bigger Pockets book. Got it at the library. And yeah.
for free. And then
For free. Yes. And so read that book. And so in that book, he explains how the best way to escalate your wealth investments and your cash flowing properties is to find a job that is commission based. So, sorry, it's a jet. Can you guys hear that?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A hazard of Virginia Beach, the jets.
Yeah. So in there, he goes that you should find something that's commission based so that you can make more money faster than you would at a 9-to-5. So the theory is that if you're at a 9-to-5, you constantly are being paid based on your experience level, right? So if you're getting paid on your experience level, you need 10 or 15 years to continue to keep getting those raises, is the theory behind that. So if you do something commission based and learn how to get really good at that faster, you can make more money at a fast rate as you get good at it. So you could make 6 figures as a real estate agent, or if you started as with a business that was a startup company, or if you did pharmaceutical sales or whatever it might be, that's a way for you to escalate your income faster than constantly asking your boss for a raise. And so with that, that was one part of the reason I wanted to jump into real estate, but also because I already had a solid community. I already knew you guys because I had been going to the meetups for probably a year at this point. And so I knew a lot of the investors from those meetups, and I felt confident that working in a real estate agent role would work for me, especially because I'd be around real estate more often, more than just outside of my 9-to-5 lunch breaks and evenings. And I could live it and be around the people that are doing it more often, and I could just escalate our investments way faster than I could with my 9-to-5.
Dude, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Good.
People that work an hourly 9-to-5 job or salary 9-to-5 job, you're never going to get paid what you're worth. You're always going to get paid what the position is worth. And guess what? As you scale up and you get more experience and you've put in
get your graduate degree.
What ends up happening is
you should.
somebody comes out and they're younger and they're more talented and more tech savvy than you, and you get the cut because you're all the way up here making all this money, and they're going to do it at a fraction of the price. If you're not ready to take the plunge to start your own business, please take the plunge, get out of your comfort zone, get away from a salary job, an hourly job, and go do a commission-based job. Oh, by the way, that position is going to help you build your own business. But I've seen it, it's the golden parachute, right? Like when you get an hourly salary, it's like, oh, like I know what I'm going to make every 2 weeks. I can plan for my bills. I can do this. I can do that. But the way things are changing with technology, like you're going to get outsourced. If you go out there and you're making a commission, you can write your own check. And the beautiful thing about that, it's like people that are not commission based, they don't understand it. It's like, yeah, we made a ton of cash, we made a ton of money, and we didn't work as hard as you had to, committing to that 40, 45, 50-hour work week. There's a little bit of, resentment, jealousy that goes in there, but it's like, we took the risk. It's risk reward, right? Like we went out there, we built this thing. You're always going to get paid what you're worth in sales commission base. You don't do anything, you don't get any paycheck. You do a ton of activity, like the world's your oyster. So, and that leads to starting your own business. Thank you, Taylor. Ooh,
you're welcome. Anytime, Claudio.
This is obviously a topic that Claudio is very passionate about.
Yeah. Don't have a boss ever.
Well, I think that I mean, I think that there's a place for every type of position, right? Whether that be somebody in a, you know, a salaried position or somebody working commissions. And it really takes a lot of faith and trust in yourself and your passion for the topic in order to jump out and be like, boom, this is what my entire livelihood is going to survive off of. You know, I've got to fire myself up about it every day because nobody's going to be on my ass but myself in the morning about what I want to get done for the day. So yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a certain mindset. It takes some guts and takes some trust and faith in yourself in order to make that jump. What, tell us about the lead up to actually leaving the corporate world and how you were feeling after you got your license. And then when, set us up for giving notice at work and kind of leaving and how that felt emotionally, mentally, physically.
Scary AF. Very scary. Only because I was used to the mindset of go to college, get 9 to 5, have someone pay you every 2 weeks, and you'll be set forever. Then trying to transition into the world of, okay, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure you can get yourself paid? Are you sure that you can sustain yourself and your new marriage off of a commission-based job? And so trying to find the confidence in myself was a big deal. And I think having that first investment property gave me way more confidence than I had in 2018 Taylor. 2019 Taylor was much more confident after that investment property and feeling like this is something that I can really do, especially watching you guys and your success and knowing that I know you guys and I know I can talk to you at any point in time, knowing that I have that network there. But another thing was telling my parents, which I know is not normal for everyone, but I felt a little bit of me, and this was all in my own head. This was really not on them at all, but me going to college and them helping support me through after college when I was living with them, and then going to tell them, hey, I'm going to quit my 9 to 5 job that you've helped me, you know, get to for the last 5 years, and I'm going to go be a real estate agent. So in my own head, I felt kind of like I was letting them down, that I was going to be disappointing them, but they were actually totally fine with it. So that was part of the transition too, was making sure that I felt okay, because at the end of the day, it's me and not them. It's me that I have to feed, not them. So getting rid of all the beliefs of what's everyone going to think when I do this, because at the end of the day, it's your life and you can't really rely on what everyone else is going to think of you in your life. So for me, telling my parents felt like a big deal, even though after I told them, they didn't seem very fazed at all.
Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, like, okay, whatever. Like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. You know, okay.
How important was John's buy-in?
John was actually the person who told me that I should think about being a real estate agent. So after we got our investment property, his parents are also real estate agents, and they've also found a lot of success in the Richmond, Virginia area. And so he was like, maybe you should think about it. Talk to Melanie, talk to Erica, talk to Claudio. But maybe this is something that you would want to do, because I didn't love my 9 to 5 job, and I didn't hate it. I mean, I hated it enough to push me this far. But if you love your 9 to 5 job, if you're really passionate about what you do, by all means, stick with it if that's what lights you on fire. If it doesn't light you on fire, don't be scared to change it and find something that does. And not so much that being a real estate agent lights me on fire. I love the idea of helping people and helping people get to their financial goals, and on the way helping me get to my financial goals. So do I wake up out of the bed excited to help someone buy and sell a house? No. I do love the idea of waking up and helping someone get some rental cash flow, and that helps them with their college kids fund down the road. I love the idea of waking up and helping encourage and empower other people to show them that they can do this too. And I love waking up to show people that this is something that's possible for them. So that's kind of also being a real estate agent. So I don't know if I really answered your question in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so going in, and on the day that I was going to put in my notice at my 9 to 5, I definitely teared up a little bit because I loved the people there because I built relationships with them, but I also knew that there was something more to this life than that job. And I knew that it was time for me to grow, and I couldn't do that there anymore. So it felt like a very strong knowing within me that this was no longer my place to be.
You know what's funny is that when we first opened up this interview, you talked about going to get your sociology degree, wanting to help people, and when you go into college, you're like, I don't really know what I want to do. It's kind of like, I'm going to go here, and this is the general premise of what I want to study and where I want to be after I'm done. And so you take this entire journey, you go to college, you get the job, and now you're a investor, real estate agent, and you're doing what that idea was at the beginning, which is helping people. And you said, hey, like, I'm not thrilled about, showing millions of houses and like going through the motions, but today I'm super fulfilled when I'm able to help people, and real estate has been the vehicle that has allowed me to do that. That's
exactly
awesome.
Yeah, it's like finding the meaning underneath the to-do items on your list.
Mm-hmm.
Because the to-do items, I mean, they're all kind of shallow because it's just something you're checking off each day. But at the end of the day, you're really impacting someone's life and someone's financial future. It makes a big difference.
100%.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Hey, so we have one deal on the books right now.
Yeah.
We talked about some of the drawbacks, specifically in the construction piece, right? But it's currently cash flowing $475, which is, for most people, it's a significant amount of money, right? Like if you throw $400 a month to somebody else, like that's a car payment, that's groceries for the month. That's pretty.
That's a paycheck for some people.
For some people, it is. Yeah, it is.
That's it.
Is there anything that you would, outside of hiring a contractor sooner, is there anything that you would have done differently on that deal? What does the next deal look like? And how, like, what are you not going to do, again, besides the contractor piece, that you did on the first one that you're not going to do with the second one?
Besides the contractor piece, I feel pretty confident in everything else that we did. It was mostly just the headaches and the long nights. I remember one night John called me and he's like, I spilled paint in the middle of the road. It was 1 a.m. on a Sunday. And he's like, I got to go get kitty litter to soak it up. I was like, all right, I'm coming. And so at 1 a.m. on Sunday, we were picking paint up off the pavement in the road in front of the house. So definitely would just go ahead and hire the contractor. But besides that, I feel pretty confident in what the other things we did. We got some solid tenants so far, knock on wood. They've been paying rent on pretty consistent basis.
8 months in on that. So yeah, it seems like a great. Do you manage your own?
Yes, since we only have one and it's local, we do self-manage. But I think if we had maybe 5 or 6 properties, we would go ahead and get a property manager. Or if it just got to be too overwhelming, I got super busy as being an agent and needed a property manager to handle all that. But they just re-up their lease till next year. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really good. But the next deal will probably be a duplex. And we've played around with the idea of house hacking. So house hacking is where you will buy a duplex or a triplex or a quad, and you will live in one side and rent out the other side. And essentially most of that rent payment will cover the mortgage, and you essentially, for the most part, the goal there is to live rent or mortgage free for yourself. So that is probably on the horizon, but first we have to have our wedding in September, and then we'll probably do our next deal after that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to take part in that in any which way that I can.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, how about, I'm trying to think of, tell us a little bit about InvestHer.
Yeah. So InvestHer is actually a group that was started by Liz Faircloth and Andressa. And I will butcher her last name if I try to say it on here, but they are 2 amazing women in Pennsylvania who started a networking meetup specifically for female empowerment for real estate investors. So it's about creating groups and spaces and podcasts that help women get more further along in their real estate investing journey. And so in January, I opened up the Virginia Beach chapter for InvestHer. So our first one was January 2020. Snowed in February. March had to get canceled because of Corona, but we're going to get there, daggone it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And so all the net proceeds from that do go to the Butterfly House, which is a women's minor that housing development for women that have been saved from sex trafficking. So it's local here in Hampton Roads. So it does cost a little money to come to the physical meetups, but on all the net proceeds go to a really good cause.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Hey, with the InvestHer meetups, I know it's for the women's empowerment and getting women into real estate investing, which, by the way, our team dynamic before Melanie left, one dude, 3 ladies. In real estate, a majority of the ladies that are in Hampton Roads that are realtors, they're crushing it. Guys need to step up their game. But with that event, I know that we've talked and it's like, hey, it's dedicated and directed towards the females, but there's also male participation in there. Like it's not an exclusive group. Like husbands can come in, their wives are being a part of it and show support, correct?
Yeah, we can't discriminate or anything. So we definitely have those participants for husbands or spouses that are supportive. But the main goal of the group is to empower other women in their real estate. But yeah, anyone is welcome to come.
Where can, and I mean, we'll get into where people can find you at Invest in Tech. But where can people find out more about InvestHer and the local chapter?
So more about InvestHer, if you go to Facebook, there is the Real Estate InvestHer community, which is all of InvestHer nationwide. And then the Real Estate InvestHer - Virginia Beach, Virginia is our specific chapter.
And then meetup.com as well, right?
Oh yeah, Meetup. I post on Bigger Pockets and in Facebook events generally too. So all the places.
Oh, of course. Now, since you're really big into YouTube, Instagram, all of those things, what are your favorite Instagram people to follow? About real estate and real estate investing. What are your favorite YouTube things to watch when it comes to real estate education, investing, or agent stuff? What are your favorite social media things, since that is definitely in your wheelhouse?
So when I was first starting, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, which was mostly Brandon Turner, to be totally honest. And Brandon Turner, for those of you who don't know, is big on Bigger Pockets. He's one of the co-founders.
I think so.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with that. He's really active on there. So watch a ton of Brandon Turner and Bigger Pockets on YouTube. As far as Instagram goes, there's a ton of people I love, but I mostly follow hashtags so I can find even more awesome people. So a lot of real estate investor hashtags, but specifically if you're big into renovations, Investor Girl Brit is huge. She has a huge following. And she goes in and she actually will show you her rehab process, and she does everything DIY, and she takes these very crappy properties and makes them beautiful. So definitely give her a follow if you're into that kind of thing. I obviously don't like fixing anything, but I enjoy watching her fix things. She does it really, really well. And then a few other people, Cash Flow and Company is one of the Pittsburgh meetup leaders, and she's on there, Lacey. She's a good one to follow. And then Bad Ash Investor. She's also one of the investor ladies in Pennsylvania. She's pretty active on Instagram. And then of course, the Real Estate InvestHer is very active on Instagram. I follow a lot of women on Instagram apparently. And then of course, the thinkreteam.
That's important to you.
Yeah, it is. It just comes naturally, I guess.
So
And what? Oh, go ahead, Claudia.
Do a YouTube search of a hashtag, or is that just Instagram that you're talking about?
I think it's just Instagram. I don't know if you can search hashtags on YouTube. I'm sure you probably can, or they will come out with it soon. But yes, hashtags on Instagram.
All right.
Taylor, what's your Instagram handle for those that want to follow you?
I am at investing_Tay. So I try to put out some helpful stuff for people that are just starting out in their rental journey.
I like that you're the word I would want to use is a salty investor, meaning that you're not afraid to put the occasional intense word to really bring emphasis to something. Meaning you're a bit of a potty mouth on your Instagram.
I am, yes. Yes, I do not hold back on my Instagram. People don't have to follow me because I do become potty mouth. But just, it's so funny because the potty mouth thing, I got one message one time and someone messaged me saying, oh my gosh, I love that you cuss because I feel like we could be friends in real life. I'm like, yeah, we totally could. We're friends right now. I mean, virtually, but still friends. And then I have other people who are like, I don't understand why you cuss so much. So it's a solid mix of reactions.
That's all right. It's not for everybody. I appreciate it because it puts a good emphasis on what needs to be emphasized.
Exactly. You just sprinkle it in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But I just got to say what comes out naturally.
Yes, you do.
Hey, you know what? You know the beautiful thing about becoming an investor, becoming a real estate agent, and living life on your own terms is you don't have a boss.
Yeah. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
That's the deal.
There's no political correctness. And I'm not saying, hey, go out there and just be a total tool, right? You're going to alienate yourself. It's going to affect your business in one way or another. But at the end of the day, like, you don't have to walk the line that a lot of people do just to play office politics. That doesn't exist. Bam, done.
Yeah, because that's part of the piece that drew me to being a real estate agent, real estate investor is the freedom. I mean, you can just run your life as you want. I mean, to a certain extent, because you still have to pay the bills and figure out how to do that. But the way you do it and make it happen is totally up to you.
We're recording this. What's today? Wednesday? We're recording this.
Yes. Wednesday, April 29th, maybe?
2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you were still at your 9 to 5, would you be able to do this?
No, not at all. Not a chance.
What we don't see is outside the camera shot, Taylor has like a margarita outside of it, just waiting to sip on it from the side.
Yeah, I wish. Summertime comes around, I will definitely take my calls with a margarita on the beach. So that's where you can find me this summer.
All right, Taylor, to get us into a couple wrap-up questions. First is, what would you tell your newbie investor self?
My newbie investor self?
12 months ago.
Right, not that long ago.
No, August of 2018.
Yeah.
What would Taylor now tell Googling Taylor how to be rich? What would you tell that Taylor?
That's such a good question. Probably that you can do more than you think. Because I think at that point in time, I was so scared, like, can I really do this? Because at that point in time, I didn't know anyone else who invested. My parents definitely didn't do the whole investing thing. No one in my family or friends or their families. It was a totally new concept to me at the time. And just knowing that you can actually do more than you think you can, even in your current circumstances.
So it seems like that networking piece and that surround yourself with like-minded people was very important for you in your journey, just kind of listening from, how things happen for you. So, don't be alone, little Taylor. Go out and find people who want to do what you want to do.
Frolic and be with the people.
Be with the folks.
Yeah, I went to a meetup and I heard someone at one of our meetups say, oh yeah, I have a credit card that's maxed out at $25K for all my flips, and it just stays like that. And I was like, $25,000 of credit card debt, and he's okay with it? He's not even freaking out. It's normal. It's just the way people talked about money, totally different, totally different than I'd ever heard before. So I was like, wow, this is so new and exciting, and I like it. So
I like it. All right, what's a book that you would recommend for an investor or even an agent?
For an investor, definitely the book on rental properties by Brandon Turner, because it lays out all the basic foundations and gives you all your basic answers in one place. That was always very helpful. But for me, The Millionaire Next Door, actually was very eye-opening, because in the book he goes through and talks about how people that are actually really wealthy are very normal. They aren't these people that sit in high rises and eat caviar all day. They're actually very normal, hardworking people. And they just know how to build their wealth. And that's the only difference between them and everyone else. So just knowing that it's very possible for someone average to be a millionaire, it was very eye-opening. I was like, wow, I can actually do this. So if you're thinking about it and you're on the fence, I definitely recommend The Millionaire Next Door. I think that's a great book.
All right, why should people want to use you as their agent in the agent world?
Oh, good question. Because I know what it's like to be scared. And I can help guide you through the process, even if it's not for an investment property, if it's just for your house. It's definitely a daunting process, and I know what it's like, and so I can definitely help hold your hand through the process and making sure that at the end of the day, you're making the right choice and you're going to be cash flowing and you have all the right people on your team, on your side.
Awesome. All right, Taylor, final question. Give us the giant list of how people can find you, because you're so social media oriented. I imagine it's just like a list of 20 different places.
Not really. On Instagram, I'm at investing_Tay. On Facebook, I'm still Taylor Hudgins. I haven't changed my name yet. And that's the only other place I'm really active. Yeah, and the meetups, the local meetups. I'm totally there too.
When those
Of course.
things come back to life.
All right, Claudia.
When we're allowed to do those things again.
Yeah. Once we can see humans in real life again.
I
I'll be there.
know. I miss shaking hands. I miss the meetups. I miss my coffee time. Poor me. I know. I get it. Life is still pretty good. All right, Taylor. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today on good old Investor Deep Dive. Claudio, it's your job to bring us out.
Okay. Guys, thank you for joining us for episode 4 of the Investor Deep Dive with Taylor Hudgins. We are the Think Real Estate team, Erica Osborne, Taylor Hudgins, Claudio Valdivia. If you guys want to be a part of the interviews, go ahead and shoot us an email, info@thinkreteam.com. We hope everybody's safe. We hope everybody's healthy, and we'll see you guys on the next one. All right. Have a great day.